Welcome back to episode 51 of the Xbox North podcast. This week we discuss gaming press turning their back on Xbox GamePass. Could Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 release on GamePass Day One this holiday? And 343 keeps on hemorrhaging developers. And they just lost their lead designer. All this and much more. But thank you for watching. Please take the time to subscribe, share, and, just thanks for hanging out with us. Kind of fumbled at the end there. But Dan, how are you doing there?
I'm doing pretty good and everything. We've been playing some video games here and there and, trying to get back into a little bit of DayZ. I'm not sure if we're going to stick with that or not, but we'll figure it out and kind of keep moving forward because I got
drama in the server, you said,
and everything. Yeah, it was interesting. It seems like some of the people might be resentful because our team is so big and everything. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to just move on to a different server. And we were kind of talking about earlier getting back into some No Man's Sky because that's been coming out with more and more updates that I haven't checked out just yet.
Yeah, they added like a roguelike mode today, and there's like floating like leviathans, and the game's been super intriguing. So, yeah, and they have like it's more of an MMO now. There you can be a mayor of a there's a lot to that game now.
Absolutely, it's funny. It had a rough start out, and I actually got it when it very first came out, and surprisingly, like they just keep hammering away at it and just making it more and more like the amazing game that it's become today. And it's one of the most flexible games I've seen too. Like the only limitation it seems to have is cross-save across like Steam and Xbox. But even on the Xbox version, I tested it myself today. If you're playing on the Xbox version, you can also download it if you have Game Pass Ultimate on your PC. And it cross-saves over to that store, but it doesn't cross-save over to Steam. You can still all play together. So Steam can play with Xbox, Steam can play with PlayStation, PlayStation can play with Xbox. I've done it all before and everything, and it's just the most open, awesome experience. Like it's a testament
seamless.
It's a testament to like games should all be like this.
Yeah, they
should all just be cross-play because it's so nice. Like when I can just call up my buddy who doesn't have an Xbox or has like an older Xbox and a newer PlayStation, he can jump on right away and we can just all play together. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that makes like playing it through Game Pass on PC a lot more like intriguing through the crossplay, especially if you're floating between consoles or like different TVs in the house. And with the rise of these handheld PCs. You can say from the popularity of the Switch, comes the Steam Deck, comes like these couple other companies like the Neo. Well, I don't know the full name of the handheld itself, but there are a couple other like handheld Windows-based PCs, and I find those super intriguing. And them being Windows-based, I feel like companies really need to open that cross save a lot more.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I'd love to see Game Pass come to Steam.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I feel like Microsoft's been working on it with like their Windows Store and everything, and apparently, like through very complex methods, it is possible to have your it's not a supported feature, but you can take your game save from like your console and move it over to PC, but there doesn't seem to be a way you can do it backwards.
Oh, okay.
And then on top of that, you can also play it in VR, which I love doing. It's one of my favorite VR games.
Yeah, it sounds so interesting in VR. I would love to just try it.
It changes the experience, and I can't wait to try some of these new features with the VR and everything, like rewinding time and moving backwards and everything. That's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. What a wild game.
Yeah.
But how far are you in Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, yeah. We're up on that mountain. Getting ready to fight that giant.
Yeah, that game's crazy.
They told me I got to fight him. I just haven't made it to the top just yet.
So you did the capital city, obviously. Did you
Yep.
do the sewer underneath it? I have
I
not done that.
I actually explored more of the sewer than I did of the surface area. There's like one whole side of the surface area that I kind of went around a bit and climbed up a dragon and everything, but but I didn't explore enough of like the flat ground. I know there's some spots that I missed, so I got to go back and try again or do it in New Game Plus.
I got like everything at the top area, but I did like nothing underneath.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The underneath it's challenging, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, it's Elden Ring, but like it was
I think
like
I think I want to do the underneath after I beat the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like smaller guys up top with bigger guys, but underneath it's all about a lot of like medium and like a good amount of like medium-sized enemies and everything that are kind of medium difficulty that just can kill you just by eventually overwhelming you or eventually exhausting all your resources and stuff.
Did you come across the dungeon down there that puts you in a loop?
In a loop? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah. There's a dungeon. I think
I
it's
must
down
not
there.
have.
Yeah. There's a dungeon where you keep on going, but there's like little subtle changes every time you go through the same thing. And you're just like kind of trapped in this like weird loop down there. That place is apparently the underneath there is way more complex than it first initially puts off.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-bending. And then at the very bottom and everything, too, there's also the, like, madness door or whatever that is. And I haven't explored that at all. I just, like, I looked up how to open it because I could not for the life of me figure out how to open it. Apparently, you just got to get naked.
Naked, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, like, how do you even figure that, like, out? Like, how does someone figure that out?
Oh, it must have been just somebody like who's like, I'm going to be the first person to figure this out. I'm going to do it. I don't care. Like, just tried everything. Like, put on this set of armor, put on this set of armor, put on this set of armor. Like, finally took everything off and like, damn it.
Yeah. I know what happens when you do it, but I don't want that ending where you like...
Yeah.
You
it's funny, too, because there was even like an NPC I came across who's like, it's the nice way to do it. It really is. Like when you think about it, and he starts to have like some good points and everything, and then suddenly he just like maniacally laughs at the end, and I'm like, no, that's sketchy. Like this is,
and I killed
so
him.
Sketchy.
I killed that guy.
Yeah, I killed him too, just to get his stuff because I was looking it up, and I was like, okay, so I can get all his armor and everything. Yeah, definitely, because that's cool ass armor. And it's apparently not even his because the actual guy died.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, oh, you saw me from earlier.
Yeah.
I killed that guy too.
Yeah, unless you've gotten there, it's hard for it to be a spoiler a bit because there's so many people to meet and so many things to do in that game.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it never ends. Where like most games would probably end after like the academy. Yeah. And the credits would roll. This game is just like, nah.
It's like, no, we're going to keep going and going. This isn't even DLC. Like, they haven't even introduced DLC to this game yet.
Which a lot of people think the DLC is going to be located. So you know how, like, the map curves around?
Like, yeah, it's a crescent almost, yeah.
Or like a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They think... So all the towers are around, like, the inner part of the finger. And there's this one cloud in the middle. And everyone thinks that... So all the huge towers in the game where you, like, turn on the ruins, if you, like, line them up, like, they all connect to this one spot. And then someone even glitched out, and there's, like, a platform out there underneath the water in that exact area. So a lot of people think the DLC is going to be...
that rising out, yeah,
like that comes out of that because of what happened. I don't know. The DLC for this game could be super intriguing. I wonder if the DLC would be backwards compat, like well, not backwards compat, like if they would do the Destiny thing where they kind of leave the last generation behind.
Yeah.
When Taken King came out.
I feel like they've done this well enough, and like it's running well on older hardware and everything. So like it's doing good still. So like if they can keep that up at least for this next one, and then go exclusive on the next game, because it's a massive game. I mean, like I feel like I've got my money's worth for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's
And I
it's
still
something
feel
that
like I
they
haven't even scratched the surface of
yeah,
like,
this is like one of those games where they're not going to need to have it like a continued service forever and have like 20 DLCs and stuff like that. Like it's just going to be like a move forward and kind of, you know, start
oh,
new with like a whole new console and like just do that in like higher res and everything. It'd be ridiculous. I have no idea how, like, that game is small. Like it's only like 50 gigs or something like that.
yeah, like it's super impressive what they are able to
Yeah.
squeeze out of that, and just how complicated, but also like I see little tricks they do to make the world, this illusion of the world, to be super big.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like interesting loading points, like the loading up into the mountain. You go through this whole foggy like area and then up higher. And then obviously when you're looking down at the world, but they've kind of built this version of the world.
Yeah.
So they're so thoughtful though. Like they're like, okay, we know you're this high and it's not as
Yeah.
detailed.
It
So
can
we
start to
we put
fog it
like
out a bit.
yeah, but we put like a basic version of it so you can kind of see. So it gives you this illusion that
Yeah.
even though the area you're in is not like a huge rendered out area, it feels so big because it's all just interconnected. It's quite amazing.
And I was
I can't
reading
even
too that
imagine what
it's
their other game would be
it's a
after
lot
this.
of like a lot of textures that make it like, you know, so intricate and everything, but they're actually fairly low res when you get close to them and everything. Whereas like with a game like Call of Duty or whatever, everything's super high resolution. So like you can get up pretty damn close to it before you're noticing much pixelation or anything like that. And so with Elden Ring, like the character details are extremely detailed, but like everything else is actually fairly low textures, like low resolution textures anyways, and just a lot of them.
Yeah, and but it looks great. They have
Yeah,
like
it
great
looks absolutely
lighting.
amazing.
Yeah,
There's ways you could do
incredible.
that poorly.
I can't even imagine what this guy will do with a more modern engine like Unreal 5. Like what's his next game like going to be like? Because if he can make a world this complex, I would love to see more RPG and role playing put into his game, like more connected story, more interesting. Like the characters are interesting, but like more of that, like a living, breathing town. Um, actual like world changes, but they do world changes in this, like when the meteorite hits. But imagine like a town getting affected over time or something like that. Like
Yeah,
just
I,
kind
I'd,
of not
I'd
a
love to
world
go
where
back and
everything
see
wants to
something.
kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to see something like a little like Morrowind, a little like what was it? I just had it in my head.
Skyrim
It's no, like Fable. Like the first Fable, where it was
or
like
like
as you progress through the
Kingdom
game,
Amalur.
yeah, yeah, and it's just like as you're progressing through the game, your beard gets longer and your hair starts to turn white, and like the more you work out, you get bigger and bigger. Like the more you eat, you start to get more of a belly. Like the more good you are, you start to get like blonder hair and like a halo, and like the like more
Yeah.
evil you are, your hair gets a little darker. You start to grow horns out your head and everything. That'd be super cool.
Or like have a home. Like you have all these armors and stuff. It'd be cool if you could display
Yeah.
some of them. Like I don't know.
Heck yeah.
It sounds silly, but I would like a lot more of that. I would have loved to see like the Volcano Manor, like more people like walking around. I feel like
Yeah. People
I feel like
doing things instead of just like being in their place. Like there's
exactly.
always like these guards walking back and forth. There's always these people sitting in these chairs and like they teleport from like here to there whenever you're not there. But they don't
But that
really
can,
like move around and have a life other than that.
Yeah, but that could be something the creator wants to do. Like there could be so many AI, like combat AI in the game that it just doing something more complex than that. Like that
would definitely make the
I
game
can
bigger.
imagine is almost like another game in itself to layer on top of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, greatest game ever.
Yeah. It's absolutely great. And like, I think we're going to get a lot of what we're talking about even right now out of Starfield when it releases, because it's going to have all that stuff in it. That's what Skyrim, Morrowind, and everything's known for. It's having those like actual lives running in the background. Like I remember being in Skyrim and just like, going to a city and like following a dude around. Like they go to the bar, they friggin' like eat some food and everything. They go back to their house and like wander around a bit, move some things. Like,
did you ever beat the Outer Worlds?
Yeah. I actually, I don't know if I've actually fully completed that just yet. I think I still got to finish that.
Oh, that's a game you should totally go back to. That game is actually, if I was you, I'd just restart from the beginning. That game is excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, you should totally go back and play that. That game is
really good.
I know you're kind of, after Elden Ring, you're kind of thinking about what to play. But then again, Assassin's Creed Origins is coming. So, but then again, that's very much like Elden Ring again, right? You're like another huge open world.
I played I played through that already too. So.
Okay, I haven't played that, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's a good one. It's actually, I liked it better than Odyssey. Odyssey I liked, but it was it had like a different feel to the game. I liked Origins because it kind of brought it back to the very beginning of everything and told the origins of the assassins and everything.
Yeah.
But the Odyssey was a lot of Greek myths and everything. So Lanta, my wife, likes it a lot more. She's really into Greek mythology, but it's still a really, really good game. And I want to try Valhalla because I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, maybe we'll get an interesting announcement from Ubisoft at the Xbox event, because I know their subscription service is coming to the console soon, and maybe they'll have some integration with Game Pass. Like, it wouldn't bother me if Game Pass eventually said, "Hey, do you want this?" So, kind of like how Amazon has channels that you can subscribe to, like Paramount Plus is on there and other thing. It'd be interesting if they added something kind of like that, and it's just in Game Pass instead of it being a separate thing. So just because having multiple subscriptions come out of your credit card at all different random times is just annoying, right? So if you can consolidate that more into one bill is more appealing.
Yeah, if you can get that all coming out at the same time, it makes it a lot easier to balance out and everything. It's interesting too that you say that, because it's kind of a model that TV was supposed to do a long time ago, but always kind of skirted around, and it was just like you should have like channel packages.
Yeah.
Like, so you can get the like genres of things that you like and not have to be paying for all the extra stuff that you really don't like.
Yeah, exactly. But, and I don't think every publisher should get that option. There's publishers like Ubisoft, big ones like that.
Yep.
So I think that'd be interesting. But how's the family? How's the kids? Work's good?
Good, yeah. Got my birthday coming up tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Work's been really good.
I have that on the calendar.
I'm gonna relax on the end of the day and take her easy.
Yeah.
Throw up some feet, maybe play some video games with the kids for a bit, and have some fun.
There you go. It's good to hear. Oh, all right.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you get up to this week?
Well, did you get hit with that storm this week?
We actually, we got hit sort of with it, but apparently Sudbury got it the worst and everything, and we just kind of narrowly missed it, but it hit everybody down south.
Yeah, so Southern Ontario got hit hard with this storm that came out of nowhere. So my wife was getting ready to go out to the mall with her brother and the kids, and all of a sudden, I get this message, this Google alert saying there's a severe thunderstorm, like don't go outside.
Yeah.
And it started, it's funny because I was on a call at work and I'm talking to somebody up in Barrie, and they're like, it got really dark here all of a sudden. And no kidding, dude, 3 minutes later, it gets dark in Toronto, and I'm like, damn, that thing is moving fast.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought the tree outside of our house was gonna collapse. It was getting pretty bad out there. So
Yeah, I was watching a video of a tree just coming full down, like just watching the storm come and just hitting it enough that it just like tore one branch down with like a huge chunk of the tree, and then the rest of it just folded over like a stack of cards. It was ridiculous.
yeah.
Like so many people were without power for days.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was walking through the neighborhood. This one of my neighbors had a full evergreen tree just across its entire yard, and half of it's going into the park next to the place. Like it's just resting on the fence now. Like, man, nature is crazy. I feel like Southern Ontario is getting worse with these like really crazy windy storms. Tornadoes are starting to like touch base more, but I guess that's climate change, right?
Yeah.
So crazy world we live in. So that was an interesting part of my weekend, playing Elden Ring and whatnot. Been watching the Halo show.
So I gotta catch up on that.
Yeah, I just got up to episode 6. It is not that great.
Yeah.
And
that's what I've heard.
One thing that kind of blows my mind is we've been waiting for this Halo live action thing they've been working on forever. Feels like 10 years this iteration of this was supposed to be coming. And this, out of all the delays, probably rewrites of scripts, going from a movie to a TV show, and this is what they settle on. He has his helmet off, Dan, so much in scenes that I'm just like, why does he have his helmet off here? They're just walking through the woods. Why is he holding his helmet in his hands? Put on your helmet. I don't need to see your face.
That. Yeah,
like
it's that's what's kind of worried me is like, because I've read the books and everything too, and like it's just weird that they didn't go with the story and everything that's already there. Like it's pre-written for you even. Like, oh yeah. I understand like you got to change it some and everything.
So it's completely different.
At its core, it's a military game, and it's like Master Chief is supposed to think tactically and strategically all the time because he's basically been raised since a very small child to do exactly that in a like high intensity Black Ops fashion, and like only really knows his fellow Spartans, does not communicate well with other people or like interact with them, which is why he also not only tactically wants to keep his helmet on all the time because it's literally armor. He like also keeps it on to not have to interact with people as much. Yeah, because he struggles with those sorts of things.
And I just feel like they're like, oh, we want more expression and stuff, and see the actors. I'm like, yo, you can get all this through just him wearing a mask. Like, there's it doesn't really bother me that they show it, but it's just the amount. There's just so many scenes where I'm just like, why is his helmet off? Like, why did he have to take his helmet off to approach this thing? I'm like, what the hell? Just leave his helmet on. I know what the actor looks like already. You've shown his face. You don't have to constantly show his face.
You can even like light up the inside of the helmet to like show his face if you want him to like be especially expressive. But it's just it's weird to me that
when
they
you
just
start
always
watching
want
it,
and They
You'll say that.
specifically describe in the books and everything, and like in most of the game too, is just like the suit's designed to never have to be taken off.
Yeah.
Like it's
But
specifically designed to like regulate their temperature, keep them clean and everything too while they're wearing it, and like it's pretty crazy.
it's kind of like watching the Boba Fett show. I'm just like, just put your helmet back on. You're walking down. You don't need to be having a chit chat with all these people with your helmet off. Like, just put your helmet on. Like, it's like it's just such a prop. It's just something to hold for some reason.
Yeah.
And the story is just completely off. It is, yeah. But I keep on saying in my head, I'm like, it's its own thing. It's its own thing. It's its own thing. So
it's really what you have to take it as, because I understand it's difficult to stick to the canon, like, but you veered very far off canon.
Yeah. Like really far off.
Yeah, like you might as well have just taken the characters and put them in a different world.
For real. But I will give my full review after I'm done it, probably next week, actually. And next week, we're also going to be having our buddy Tony on to have our prediction episode for the June showcase coming up. So let's hope for good things. So I just wanted to also, before kind of getting into the news, well, this is part of the news, but it's kind of broke today. The indie game Replaced will be sadly delayed until 2023, so that's another big game, but they are a Ukrainian developer, and obviously what's going on in there, getting their team, they finally just kind of got everything back together, and they have started developing again on the game. But, things are crazy over there, and it not looking good. Especially with shipments going in and out of their harbor now that they have mines everywhere. They're essentially just getting nothing. So things are pretty bad out there. So I'm glad to hear that they were able to get out and start developing and kind of start rebuilding their lives. But obviously, because of that, it is going to be delayed until next year. But man, next year is going to be a packed year. It's going to be a packed year for sure. But on to our first topic of the day. It looks like after 2 months of a lackluster Game Pass releases, it seems like game journalists have turned their back on the service and are writing up hit pieces from Kotaku and other so-called journalists expressing their thoughts and like just grievances on Twitter and saying they're unsubscribing from the service. And it's really funny. Kotaku wrote an article and talking about this, and the Game Pass account like actually responded to the article. And what they said is, tell me you limit yourself only to AAA games without telling me you limit yourself only to AAA games. Which, it has been about 2 months of pretty much just really good indies and sports games. But, what do you think of these articles? Do they have a point? The last 2 months haven't been super intriguing compared to, let's say, the track record they set last year. But then again, this year's been a weird year.
Yeah, I think it's like a careful balance there. Like they're not wrong. There hasn't been too much like AAA games and everything on for the last couple of months or so. But I mean, that's kind of is what it is. Like you can't constantly. I'd imagine it's incredibly difficult for Xbox to pay for AAA game after AAA game after AAA game and make these deals and everything and like actually be able to like sell on that. And I've always kind of liked it like this because it gives you a bit of a lull to catch up on those games and play some of these indie games and everything, because a lot of them are really good and they're ones that you might not actually get into if you just experiencing AAA after AAA after AAA.
Yeah.
Like the AAA games are great and all. They're fabulous, but you don't always get original ideas from them. because they're kind of just churning out, like, Call of Duty hasn't changed that much in the last, like, what, 10,
Well,
15 years now or something?
20 years, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
Like, it's crazy. Like, there's no way you can expect that they can just keep performing like that and always keep it super interesting for everyone. Like, they're going to have new developers and things will change and everything. But I love playing some of the little indie games that I never get a chance to, especially some of the ones that I'm just looking forward to play with my kid and everything. Like, there's one, Donut County, that's just all about, like, this hole that you just have to suck stuff up in, and it just gets bigger and bigger. Like, there's mobile games for that and everything, but this one has, like, a whole actual storyline behind
Story
it.
to it. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's an interesting game.
Yeah,
I think
my
your
kid
kids
was
would like
loving
that.
it. Yeah. It's so good. Like, so it's just nice to be able to get into some of these smaller games, because back in the day when we were kids, like, they were all smaller companies because nobody thought video games were going anywhere.
And they're
here
all
we
kind
are.
of games like this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If I had a game like it's hard to pronounce the Ewan Chronicles or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm saying it
I think I know what you're
completely
talking
wrong,
about,
but
and
I had
that's
the
pretty
video
close to
last
it.
week on our
I'd have to, like,
our
watch the trailer again or something to be able to pronounce it properly, because there's always a lot of games like that.
yeah. Like, I think your daughter would actually, your oldest would have a great time just playing that as maybe like a first kind of side scroller RPG and stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. Like, as soon as there is a lull in the service, these game journalists are so biased to PlayStation, right? Or just, I don't know if they're biased to PlayStation or they're just Xbox haters. But as soon as, like, we just have a lull, and mind
I
you,
think it's
two
any piece
major
of news.
releases getting delayed, and they're like, "Oh, it's time to jump ship." I'm just like, it's coming next year.
Right?
So it's like your bias is showing, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely exaggerate, like, the problem that it is, because it's like, sure, it's sort of a problem, but like I said, like, you get more time and everything. So I mean, it's not a problem for me anyways. For some people, it's a serious problem, but it's not like jumping ship sort of problem. It's like, okay, so there's no positive news this week, so let's make some terrible news.
Right? And I feel like they are quiet for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like there's also a couple of gets that they should have maybe tried to lock down. I feel like Dying Light 2 didn't get the reception they were hoping, and that game would have been so good on Game Pass, or even Final Fantasy Stranger's Paradise would have been a great get for that. So I would like to see maybe a couple of the games that came out earlier in the year maybe release on Game Pass next month. But you never know. We could be getting some big gets by the end of the year. So what big kind of third-party games from the start of this year do you think you would want to see on the service this year?
I don't know. Like, there's so many games, like, I want to see come on the service. I would love to see a Dying Light come on. Just it's one of those games that I want to play. I've heard there's still some issues with the online, like they had in the last game, but I'm still interested to play it. There's lots of cool little Easter eggs and stuff. I've heard there's, like, a Harry Potter broom you can get in there and stuff, and a bunch of other cool little like Easter eggs and stuff. Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool to try out. There's so many games, and, like, I hope they eventually put Elden Ring on for everyone else. Like, I paid full for it, and I have no problems with them bringing it on Game Pass anytime soon,
If
just
they
for other
could
people
get
to
that
try it.
now, that'd be
Yeah.
huge.
That'd be absolutely massive, but I don't expect it to.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like these journalists are, like, when you read an article like this, it just comes off so spoiled.
Yeah.
A lot of the times too. And I just feel like they're just so disingenuous. Like, just trying to stoke the fanboy flame online.
Yeah. Keeps
And
their news a churning.
yeah, you come off like these asshole like news anchors and stuff like that, and just like you're just like trying to sow division into people. Like it's outrageous.
Reminds me of like one of those like celebrity gossip pieces that are just
right?
Like, oh, have you seen like, Megan Fox is wearing this to the gym? It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why that's a problem for you.
Yeah. Watch, they'll start calling everyone who likes Xbox a racist or something like that. They're just they're just crazy, man. I feel like they're that kind of
like
crazy.
That'd be hard to pull off, but
yeah, right. But I feel like I read this article, I'm like, we're just gonna start like going down a dark path pretty soon.
Like, I feel like I could definitely see like a clickbaity like headline show up like that sometime soon, like Xbox players are racist, and then just like, not really. But like, seriously, this is what we're talking about. Like, what?
Like, look at these posts. It's just like, what are you guys like talking about? It's like one psycho. I don't know. But yeah, no, the way half these articles read, you're just like, you guys will just say anything. So if something like that came out, I wouldn't even be surprised. So, but on to kind of like getting off that topic with just silly journalists, like Game Pass is not going to go away, and as soon as like big games come out for it, they'll be like, oh, Xbox Game Pass is the best thing ever, blah 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 again. So like in any service, there are lulls sometimes, but I feel like the lull this year was so,
I feel like there was a lot of expectation built up, and there's a lot of disappointment just because that expectation hasn't quite been met, because they were just like, oh, these games are coming out like this game after this game after this game. And we did get a little spoiled and everything while that was happening too. And now that the few big ones that were supposed to be coming like are delayed till next year, it's a big letdown.
yeah. So I get there's some salt right now. There's some like the two biggest titles that we were supposed to be getting got delayed, but you never know. There could be some surprises at the end of the year. So and that will be something we will be kind of talking about later on.
And it could go either way too. I mean, if they did release when they said they were going to release and everything, and they turned out to have all sorts of problems and everything, we'd be just as disappointed, right? So sometimes it's just better to wait.
And like just back to these articles, and back to what I was saying, like I make a joke like that because that's how like inflammatory these things are, and they just seem to just try and drum up anything, to just, we get 2 delays, but yet, let's call the alarms. The world is ending now for the service. Like it's just hyperbolic and outrageous. So it's just taking a when you're supposed to be calling yourself a game journalist, and then you write just like fluff pieces like that, you just seem like you're a tabloid writer, like you're just scum. But nothing. It's been a rough year for not just the last a rough year for game development and just delays itself, but it's been definitely a rough year with 343. So it looks like 343 has lost another key developer, with Jerry Hook, head of design, leaving and departing 343. And this comes down to thoughts of, does 343 need a complete overhaul? They continue to just, like, it seems like they keep on hemorrhaging staff from there. And this 10-year plan they initially had for Halo Infinite, is that just a dead dream because I've never heard them kind of bring it up again since.
Yeah. There's a lot of
what do you?
disappointment and everything. The numbers were surprising when they did release them for the Xbox like player counts and everything. Like they were big. They were decent numbers and everything, but I'm guessing, yeah, the lack of a proper roadmap and everything, it's uncertain for us. It must be uncertain for them because it's a easy enough solve to have a plan and show some of that plan, at least like, guidelines for that plan to the people when, you know it's working properly in-house, but either they're struggling to meet any of these deadlines and they don't want to release too much of a roadmap, or they're struggling to figure out how to actually accomplish these properly. So who knows what it is, but I think we're probably going to see something similar to like Gotham Knights and whatever, and they're going to end up having to release it for Series S and X only and like PS5. Well, not PS5 because it's Halo, but...
Well, what I personally think is, considering they hemorrhaged so much staff, it seems, from what I can see, like, man, they just lost their lead designer. They need to not do a 10-year plan. I feel like maybe support this game for 2 years. Come out with their Battle Royale mode that is clearly coming, but they need to get off this engine. They need to switch to either like, it's probably like Unreal 5, considering they have the resource of the Coalition next to them. And somebody just released Halo Infinite in Unreal 5, and it looks so much better than Halo Infinite. So they could totally tweak that engine so it has that kind of similar gunplay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they need to get rid of that engine. That engine is clearly holding that entire project back. And if you are constantly hiring people and that person you just hired has to learn an entirely new engine when they went to college and learned Unreal or something like that, it's really tough to retain staff where they're just like, I don't want to deal with this stupid engine anymore, or something that is constantly fighting with me, or it's just like half built, or just not ready to do these things.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that they are losing people, but to lose somebody like Jerry Hook, the lead designer of
that's a huge person.
Yeah, that's a huge person. It makes me think that when Joseph Staten came in, that he essentially, and this is just my gut feeling, is he essentially said that 10-year plan is done. We are going to be moving on to the next project, and totally took the entire course that they were going to go and threw it out the window and is starting scratch from something new. Still going forward with some of the content they have, but I feel like the lack of content, like 2 maps, there must be something bigger going on, and I think we'll get a better idea of that in June. But do you think they should...
I'm hoping maybe just... Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to ask you, I'm like, do you think they should still be like the developer behind Halo? Do you think they should give it to somebody else now?
Yeah, potentially. That could do it. I mean, what I was going to say was like, hopefully they're just holding off and they're just going to be like, oh, here's all the content for the big release. Like the big Bethesda showcase and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Potentially another developer could do it better. I don't know. Like,
we'll see what
We've had a few different developers now on Halo already, right? So, and we've seen the changes that they make and how it kind of evolved from what it originally was and where it is now. So, I don't know. Hopefully they can salvage it. Maybe they just need to switch engines or potentially even switch developers.
I think they should give the whole franchise to Certain Affinity, and they should buy Certain Affinity.
That would be great.
So, because they did a great job with Well, they've just been working on Halo so much longer than 343. They seem to understand that franchise. It seems a lot of people who run Certain Affinity, I think the guy who created Certain Affinity was like the lead multiplayer head for Halo 2 and 3. So like, like those are the people you want making Halo. Like, it's not
Give it to the
343.
Crisis guys.
Yeah.
Basically Halo anyways.
I tend to like to see what 343 has. Like, I feel like they're a talented developer still.
Yeah.
But I would like to see them work on something else and, yeah, get away from that engine and staff up and keep their staff. Like, they got to stop this whole, like, contract nonsense that they always do. So, it's just sad to see because, you know, Halo 5, you know, campaign aside, that multiplayer was great. The consistency of updates were good. And I felt like they really hit their stride with that multiplayer. And to see it just like all fall apart in Halo
Just look at
Infinite.
it.
Well, yeah, that's Halo Infinite right there. That's the new update right there.
Yeah. Like,
and
it's
there
good.
was
It's
a
a
lack
fun game. But there's just not much new stuff going on.
Yeah, and there's not like no replay value, especially to the campaign. Like, I haven't even touched the campaign again. And like I've gone through Halo campaigns like so many times. Like replaying missions over and over, and co-op and stuff. So give me co-op. So that needs to happen. But I wish the best for 343 in the future. I don't really know what they can do at this point.
Yeah, hopefully some big news at the showcase.
Yep. So fingers crossed. I think we will 100% get news at the showcase. I think we'll see that Battle Royale for sure. But if that Battle Royale is going to be a separate thing from Halo Infinite, then I don't know.
I really don't know. Game.
Yeah. I think it is going to be a different game. I don't think it will be. I think it will be its own separate launcher.
Right. Should just call it Red versus Blue.
Or it could be just like a game mode. I think it should be its own separate launcher, like Call of Duty Warzone is.
Yeah.
But you know how like when you start, you can pick Warzone or like the actual like campaign.
Yeah.
Do something like that. All right. Speaking of Call of Duty, on to our last topic, and this is kind of more just like a thought in my head after the delay. But now that we know that Starfield and Redfall will be delayed until 2023, making this holiday wide open, and we've heard reports that Activision Blizzard deal is going forward quicker than they thought, could we potentially get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? Possibly? Maybe? Hopefully? The biggest game of the year, obviously releasing onto GamePass Day One. We've also heard tons of news about Diablo 4. Could that be a potential holiday release on the service as well?
That'd be sweet.
I personally think that even if the deal doesn't go through, it's very lucrative for Microsoft to, if they know the deal is essentially done, it's lucrative to just put the money down and get because it's not like they're not getting the money back. And halfway through the life cycle of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it will migrate to Game Pass because the deal will be completed.
Yeah.
So I feel like...
I think any Call of Duty stuff going on Game Pass, they're just going to earn more revenue because whoever's going to buy it and has been buying it has already bought it.
Yeah.
When they release it on Game Pass, that's just the extra nice piece about it. The people who still want to purchase it for when it leaves Game Pass are going to do that because it's on extra sale too because they get a Game Pass discount or an Xbox Live Gold discount. So.
Yeah, and also they could add exclusive perks, making it more enticing to go there.
You're going to buy the extra stuff on there because you don't have to pay for the game anymore. And you'll be likely to actually do that, like we've been doing on some of the games.
And it's on Battle Pass, so if it becomes free on Battle Pass because you have Game Pass, that's sweet.
Heck yeah.
So, and maybe maybe that's why they're not so nervous about this holiday. Maybe they know that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming on Game Pass Day 1. And if it comes on Game Pass Day 1, I don't care what anyone says. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan personally, but we cannot overlook of how big of a deal that would be.
Oh yeah,
coming onto Game Pass Day 1. That would be like a seismic. I would dare say that would be the biggest Game Pass release, period. There would be no bigger release on Game Pass to date than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 coming out on that service. And I'm talking over Halo Infinite, over Forza Horizon 5, over everything that's released onto the service to get a juggernaut and something that is so anticipated like a Modern Warfare 2, a Modern Warfare specifically, would be just huge. And I think they're going to do it. I don't know, my gut, my balls, as Colin Moriarty says. I feel it, So, but then again, I've been saying to my wife every other showcase, oh, we're going to see Fable. And I always end the showcase like, we didn't see Fable. And she's like, oh, you're such a piece of shit. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think of my theory?
I think that's probably what we're likely to see. I mean, something big's going to come out of the showcase, and as much as they're probably seeing a lull in subscribers and probably a decent amount of unsubscribers in the last month or two, and probably right up to the showcase, they're going to have that's what they do. They're going to build a bunch of hype for the new showcase, because at least I'm hoping. I mean, if it's a disappointment, I'm going to be real sad.
Yeah. And it feels like almost Call of Duty is going back home, because that's always where the marketing's been on Xbox.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's coming. I don't know why, but they know they own them, so
yeah. If they're going to own them, why not put it on there? Like, I couldn't think of a single reason not to, and you're not going to make good money off of it.
There you go. What about Diablo 4?
Diablo 4, I think that one's a little less likely, but I still think there's a good chance that it's coming out on Game Pass too. Because Diablo is just such a huge game, and it's got such a fan base. I would love to play it on there.
Well, we know it's coming to Game Pass once the deal is done, but do you think Diablo could stealth release at the end of this year?
Potentially. I mean, I know they've been working on it for a long time.
And I feel like they've been quiet. Well, not quiet. Yeah. They've talked a lot about it, but I feel like we could see it at the showcase. I feel like we might see a couple.
At least see some cloud gameplay or something.
Like it releasing on Game Pass would be huge. Another huge thing. And it would definitely take that Starfield and Redfall moving from this year to next year. People wouldn't even be talking about that. They'd be like, oh my God, Diablo? Oh my God. Call of Duty on Game Pass? Like, hell yeah. And then next year, when next year starts, you're like Starfield, Redfall, potentially Obsidian's Avowed, Hellblade. There's so much stuff. Like, it's crazy. Next year is going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. And even if we get Call of Duty halfway through its life cycle, that's still huge right there. Like, what a major release on Game Pass, even like 6 months later. It would be crazy. So I feel like the reason they are so cool with the delay of Starfield and Redfall is they might have something bigger.
Yep.
So fingers crossed. We'll talk more spicy stuff like this next week, but I kind of wanted to kind of throw that and put that into the ether, So, yeah, I think it's going to be a huge holiday, and I can't wait for the holiday. I can't wait to play these games. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. But with that said, I think we've made it. Have we made it to the end of the episode? Yeah, look where we are.
Yeah, check it out. But yeah, don't forget to smack that subscribe button on our YouTube page and tippity-tap that like button. You can comment on our beautiful voices. And find us on audio only on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Just search relentlessly for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit and Instagram. Just take a look for Xbox North Podcast. And for Twitter, @NorthXbox. Because we'll make it easy for you.
Also come interact with us on Twitter. I'm there. Always up for a chat. Want to play some games with us. If you want to help kill some monsters in Elden Ring, just shoot us a DM
or leave a
comment. Yeah. And if anyone has any questions, yeah, if you guys, whoever makes it to the end to this point, if you have any questions or anything like that, just write anything into the comment section. I'd love to see it one day. All right, guys. Good night.
All right. Toodaloo.